Hi, everyone. This is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman. And today we are going to be talking all about our solar eclipse in the sign of Aries that's coming on the 19th for us. So I kind of think it's like, yay, we get to do this. But I will tell you, there is a lot of energy in play. And then we're going to get some angel cards going and get everybody like logged in and asking questions, because I think it's really important. I think I've done like 5 or 6 different videos on, hi, Miss Jenny, kind of on the solar eclipse, because it's so powerful. And this one is going to be more than most, and I'm going to explain why. And we're going to talk about all of that. But let me start my promo and we will get started. So hold on, Instagram. Here we go. Okay, guys, here we go. I am all excited about this because we've got Miss Panther on, we've got Sandra, and we've got Kathy on. I will tell you, there is a lot of information about our it's kind of really a hybrid solar eclipse. So it's kind of coming in with some amazing energy with it, because it's called a hybrid because it's actually starting out as a partial eclipse, and it's actually ending as a full eclipse. So it'll be kind of like an interesting kind of like peer of a question. Um, um, I think that's kind of one of those like interesting questions, because really our solar eclipse literally starts on April 19th. And so that's kind of for us. A lot of times people get confused because people will have more than one date out there. And it's because for us, it starts our time in Central Standard Time. It will start at like 8:26, I think it is. And then it'll like finish in April 20th. And then it just depends on where you are in the world. So that time for you may be the 20th, and it's all on the 20th. So it's kind of like that interesting energy. But one of the things that's really interesting about this eclipse is that it is a new moon total solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. So really, normally new moons are all about like new things that you're going to start, like new beginnings. Anytime the new moon rolls around, every month that it comes around, it's start giving you an opportunity to start new things, start new projects, start new energy, all of that. So it's kind of like all about that new beginning of things. But it's one of those, an eclipse is kind of like a new moon on steroids with a crazy mom. You know what I'm saying? Like it is just like the energy is going to be overwhelming for some people. And I will tell you, kind of one of those interesting ones. A lot of times people just think it's like only Aries that will be affected. It'll be all fire signs that will feel this one really, really powerful. So that's kind of like, yeah. The eclipse kind of sets the tone from when it starts all the way kind of until mid 2025. So that is like already amazing. It's got a really, because once we kind of do this new moon solar eclipse, and then 2 weeks later we have a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio, and then that just kind of like rolls, and that energy stays with us for about 6 months. But before we hit the 6-month mark, we're having another lunar and solar eclipse. So it kind of just keeps that energy up high for us. So really, this is a great time. If there's something that you have wanted to start, if there was something that you wanted to bring into you, something new that you wanted to start, that would be something that I will say this solar eclipse will actually really help with a lot of that, kind of starting whatever new is for you. This eclipse, a lot of times people tell me like, well, it's not visible from where I live, so it's not going to really affect me. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. It affects everybody, because the moon affects everything all over the place. So even a full moon in Texas that's hitting us right in the face, on the other side of the world, the oceans will change their tides. It will kind of like affect everything. So even though it's on the other side, and this one is kind of like South and East Asia, the Pacific Ocean, Australia, the Indian Ocean, and and parts of Antarctica will be able to see it. So it's kind of like, wow, even though it's on the other side of the world, it is still going to be affecting us a lot. So that's kind of one of those like interesting energies for us. I will tell you kind of in astrology, the new moon is signifying kind of like those new beginnings and a potential to change a lot of energy. And so if you've been wanting to kind of change a new cycle, a new phase, a new job, a new something, any of those, like this is the time to kind of work on that, because this energy is going to be really, really high for the next month or so. And it kind of like, it's really high. And then we get a kick from another eclipse. And then here we go again. It's like, whoa, it's going to really change some things for us. An eclipse is really a great time to kind of set some new intentions, especially a new moon eclipse is really a great time to really think about what are your intentions? What do you want to bring in? What do you want to manifest? And kind of like, no matter what your sign is or what you're trying to do or what you're trying to start, this is a great time to kind of really think about pushing that energy into the new part. What is it new that you want to bring into? And so that could be, like I said, a new love. That could be new energy. That could be a new job. It could be something else. One of the things is a lot of times people will get like those solar glasses. So if you're going to go out there and look at the moon or the sun, if you're out in that area, this is a great one to kind of really get your glasses. I often tell people to like do it really early. If you really like going to eclipses, it's something that you should always carry with you, especially certain filters. It can really hurt your eyes in a lot of ways. I will tell people kind of one of the things is some cultures have like a very negative association with eclipses, and a lot of them won't let you eat while the eclipse is happening. So it's kind of like any food that is consumed during that time frame is considered to be tainted or contaminated, and so that's kind of like, no, we can't do any of that. Sometimes, like if it's during the day, that kids will not be allowed to go play outside during the eclipse or even before or after. Kind of some of those interesting ones. A lot of times, like people really avoid like exposure to the sunlight or the moonlight during that time frame. A lot of times people are literally religious temples, religious places, different parts around the world will be actually remain closed during the eclipse period. And that's usually the day before, the day of, and the day after. And the other one is a lot of times they are almost like made. It's kind of like their culture. Like you have to take a shower or a tub after an eclipse, even if you weren't in the energy or anything else, to remove any negative energy from you. So I think that's kind of like, interesting. I've never done that one. I may have to try that sometime. Usually, a lot of people perform different kinds of ceremonies, different kinds of rituals. And so to me, one of the things I like to do for any kind of eclipse, I love doing it. And I'll be doing that at my house on April 19th. I will be doing a celestial meditation for my advanced clients, students, all that kind of stuff, because it's a really great thing to kind of actually really connect in to that eclipse energy. It's one of those, I like to kind of put my energy out there kind of between everything and really soak up that eclipse energy, because that can be, and like I said, I know some cultures don't care for that. To me, I love being in that eclipse energy. And when my students or clients have joined me here at the house to do something like that, they are like, oh my gosh, that is amazing. To be in the eclipse energy and kind of collect with it, kind of connect with it. And I will tell you, one of the things that is kind of really important to know is like for about 4 to 6 weeks after an eclipse, the energy is at an all-time high. Okay. And then that is probably the most time that you are going to be like changing your lifestyle, making changes for yourself, altering directions, kind of modifying it. It's up to you what you're planning on doing. So it's kind of like, what are you going to do? Just like in all astrology things, eclipses can almost bring situations to you that are you feel like compelled to react to. I was talking to a client not too long ago, and she was telling me that like there is like a tree that she passes like every day going to work, and she just like one of those days that she goes, I'm gonna have to stop and go touch that tree. It's just like calling my name. That may be something that you do in that eclipse moon energy of like, yes, I've just got to go and touch this. I've got to go make that connection with that tree. And a lot of times, like people do things that they normally wouldn't do. I a client last year in one of the eclipses. Actually, he's very shy. Actually, went up and like talked to a girl and got her phone number and called her and all that kind of stuff. And they've been dating for a little bit now, but it's one of those. He was like, without that eclipse energy, he would have never done that. He was like, oh no, I would be so intimidated to walk up to a girl and talk to her. And he was like, I just like went for it. I've got that eclipse energy, and I was like ready to do it. So it's one of those, it can really change your life. And that's kind of the fun part about it. Now, I know you can't really raise your hand, but did anybody ever play kind of red light, green light when they were a kid? Now, I know I did. I love that game. I thought it was so much fun. And kind of the part about this is if you do all the things to kind of connect with this eclipse energy, if you're doing the ritual, if you're kind of doing the cleanse, if you've been following all the videos that I've been doing out, like I think it's like 5 or 6 videos that I've done just on this eclipse alone. If you do all of those things and kind of connect with this eclipse energy, it could be like red light, green light, because you could start when the eclipse starts, you could be on that first line of like, okay, this is the start line, here we go. And then when someone says green light and they turn around and kind of black out the moon for a while, it's like you're going to be like, oh my gosh, run, run, run. And wherever you end up at the end is where you could really end up. So that eclipse energy can really push us forward and really bring our energy into what do we want to do? What do we want to create? And so if you know about that ahead of time, that is something really, really important. And I actually think yesterday is most of the videos that I had out where that was the time frame. Like this is the day that you really need to kind of like start thinking about what you want to make, getting your kind of like your rituals together. For me, a lot of times I am doing setting my intentions. I'm writing them out. I will also kind of like list new things that I want to start or begin. I will also kind of go through and have like a candle, usually a couple of salt lamps or some stones in that area. So kind of like not really an altar, but kind of like a place where I've kind of put all of that, and it's in a place that is going to get moonlight when the moon gets to us eventually. So it's kind of like one of those crazy things when it kind of comes up in the morning, that morning after the eclipse, we are going to get some great moonlight on us, even though during the day. So this is something that I've got in the back window. So when the moon goes past, it's going to kind of amplify all of that. And like I said, what is it that you want to start? What is it that you really want to do? I think candles are a really great thing. I do put my candles out. A lot of people ask me that. I put my candles out at night. I usually add like a fragrance oils that really amp my energy up. A lot of amping up a very positive energy oils that I will use. There are some oils that I love. I will say also kind of one of the things that I like to do is kind of taking time several times during the eclipse cycle, even if I can't see it. I will be visualizing what I want to accomplish or what do I want to do during this time frame, and then kind of lighting that energy of like, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to set this intention. I'm going to set this up in the right way, because that's kind of the cool part about it, is really kind of amping that energy up. Now, one of the things that I like to do is I also love to really connect with stones. If y'all haven't ever figured out, I love stones. I have a thing for stones. And so a lot of stones that I love to do is kind of like a moonstone, putting the necklace on and wearing it. I will also have like some moonstones that I have that I will put near my intentions, or kind of like what I've written down over my affirmations that I want to create or begin or start over the next 6 months or year, kind of that sort of thing. I will tell you that it's kind of the fun part about allowing it to kind of set the time frame. And I have a little place that I always put all of my ritual stuff for that. And really, I think it's kind of cool to go through the past ones of like what I wrote last year, what I wrote the year before, and really looking at what came true? How did it come true? That is a really great kind of like energy of kind of like, wow, this is really cool to kind of set up this energy of what do I want to do? How do I want to do this? And this is going to be an awesome time frame to kind of really do that. Like I said, this is a very super powerful moon. One of the things I will say that is kind of cool with this is that we do also have a lot of planetary energies that are going to also be affecting things that are going on. We also, during the same time frame, we also have Jupiter. Okay, clarity, please, on that. Clarity on what part, Miss Panther? On the planets. I know it takes a little bit for everybody to answer back. So I was like, what? So answer me back, Miss Panther. Tell me what you want clarity on. I think that's kind of the cool part, is kind of setting your intentions and kind of like what's coming up. But I will tell you, there is a lot of planetary energy coming up at the same time. So kind of one of the ones that I know a lot of people are being affected by is Jupiter in the sign of Aries. So Jupiter is our planet of growth and luck, expansion, abundance, all of that. And it's in the sign of Aries, the same sign that our eclipse is going to be in. And Aries is kind of that fiery energy, kind of like amping anything up, bringing more vibrations. Panther, you'll have to wait for that one another time. It's one of those, like, I am not answering questions like that tonight. I'm answering questions only on the eclipse. So kind of the fun part is kind of really this planet Jupiter in the sign of Aries is really going to be beginning like a new cycle, and it's really going to be amping up our energy, and this is going to be amazing, that sort of thing. And then right as this is kind of coming in, we also kind of have our planet of Jupiter kind of move in just a couple of days from now, move into the sign of Taurus, and that is really going to kind of signal kind of like a new cycle of energy, a new cycle of prosperity, and also security. Taurus is all about that security in the energy and kind of taking center stage of being gentle and kind with other people's energy. I will tell you that this is a great time to take care of like your material items. So if you have anything that's broken or not fixed or really requires something around you to be fixed, this is a great time to kind of make sure that that's fixed before we get into that eclipse energy. We also have, let's see, Saturn in the sign of Aquarius right now. And so Saturn is our planet of structure and infrastructure. And that could be the structure of like a building or a structure of a bridge or something like that. But it could also be our structure. And usually for us, it's usually our calendars. It's usually how we set our schedule and how we kind of modify or change those things. So this is kind of one of those like, yes. And Aquarius is that energy of kind of like the rebellion. So where have you been on your calendar, like so detailed about every minute that's going on, where now it's kind of asking you to kind of like, let's free up some space. Let's free up a little bit of energy. And that is a lot of energy to kind of free up, because if you are so booked on your calendar that you really can't put anything else on there. And I know people that literally have so much on their calendar. If one thing fell off, they would put 4 or 5 things in the place. They're just like that. They just are constantly being busy. And so I tell people, like, give yourself a little bit of space between appointments. Give yourself a little bit of time off, a little bit of amazing energy to just kind of like take a breath for a second. The other one that is really going to be affecting people with this eclipse is Uranus. Uranus is in the sign of Taurus. So Uranus is kind of our crazy planet of kind of like, thinking outside the box. Well, Uranus doesn't even know that it has a box. Like, it is so far out there. It's kind of one of those bringing in like crazy energy of like solving problems or issues in a very unconventional manner, because it's one of those, it's like, that's just the energy of it. It's going to be unconventional. It's going to be out of the box, kind of that weird, crazy stuff. And then it's in the sign of Taurus. So it's kind of like almost in this fight. So things are going to fix quickly, but it's also going to be almost a down to earth answer of kind of like, how do we do this? How do we kind of clear this energy out? So that is going to be the really cool part for us to kind of watch all of this. I'm going to go in for just a little bit. And kind of talk about, like, one of the things is when you put your moonstone on every day, whenever you put your necklace on or jewelry or whatever it is, whenever you've got that moonstone energy around you, because that's going to help us connect to the eclipse energy, because moonstone, moon, all this kind of stuff is setting the intention. And a lot of times what I will end up doing is, like, before it's even around my necklace, like holding it up to my heart and think about all the intentions that I'm bringing in. What are the new energies that I'm trying to bring in? What are the new things that I'm trying to do? That's a great positive energy to kind of bring that energy in. And I will hold it up, and then I will let it relax. And I'll do that 3 times. And then the end of the 3rd time, I will actually put it around my neck and kind of really amping up that energy. And this can be a really great way of amping up things, kind of taking things, like really getting ready for what's coming in and around us. Let's see. One of the things that I think is kind of really cool is to get ready for our, I should have my new one up here. One second. Okay, so one of the things is when we're getting ready for the eclipse energy, and this is just the new moon in the sign of Aries, kind of getting, like, I smudge the area. So I kind of clear out the space around it, kind of where I'm putting my items. I'm going to be clearing that out. I usually clear it with sage first, but I also clear it with Palo Santo wood. Usually I do some type of lavender buds around it, or kind of in some areas around that area. I also use frankincense. Frankincense is a clearing energy, and so it's going to clear off any negative energy in that space. One of the other ones that can really open up your energy to it is kind of putting like some amazing items that you have collected, or new things that you would want to put in there. So I had a client not too long ago that is starting to collect coins. That was something that she's really kind of like, wow, I'm just really connected to these coins, and I love doing it. And everywhere she goes, she's picking up these little coins off the ground, off the table, wherever she is. Like, everywhere I go, she's like, I'm picking up coins. And so I said, put some of your coins in that area, because that's something new that you're ready to open up into. And so that's been a really great energy for her, a great energy for her to open up into it. Putting them there in her little area is going to be great. One of the things I often tell people is I actually cleanse my whole house, a huge cleanse, before we get ready for eclipse energy. And I usually do it about 2 weeks before. So I've done it like 2.5 weeks ago or so, and then getting ready for it again. And then I will sage just that area where I've put all my intentions and all the new things that I'm ready to start. One of the things is I love putting energy of like holy water in that area, so that kind of can really clean out anything and kind of help me start something new. And a lot of times, like, because this eclipse is like this, that we're actually having our new moon eclipse first and then our full moon eclipse. One of the things that's really going to help us kind of clear out or take care of is, a lot of times when we start something new, we realize that we're really stuck in old energy. And that's where that full moon energy comes in, because it's going to help us release anything. Anytime you find something in the next 2 weeks after the eclipse of coming in and messing with things or kind of interrupting things, it's like, that's what we want to kind of give to our full moon, so we can get it out of our way. I always just think of our full moon as like kind of throwing it into that energy is going to clear things out for us. And visualizing, like, cutting the cords with things that have been holding me in the past, or things that have kind of kept me from what I want to do or accomplish or take care of, or whatever it is, kind of cutting the cords of that and kind of like feeling that separation, kind of like it's separating even more. I'm not going to be holding on to that anymore. And sometimes people tell me that it can be difficult to let go of things. I think it can be too at times, depending on what it is. So sometimes asking that event or whatever it is that's kind of been holding you back, what did I learn? What did I learn with you in my life? What was the message, or what was the lesson that I was supposed to learn with you in my life? That can be a great way to really amp up your energy. It can be a great way to kind of really open up into some amazing energies and really kind of open up to what's coming up next. That's kind of the one of the cool parts. So next, we're going to do some angel cards about the eclipse itself. And if you have any questions about the eclipse, I'll be more than happy to answer those. So make sure that you post a really clear question for me. The first card I get is Mars, and this is all about motion. I think Mars is an amazing energy, and it is about to change some signs, some energy as well, and it's going to be kind of pushing us to move forward. So that is a great thing for Mars to kind of push us forward in what's going on around us. This one is the first house, and this is our arrival. This is kind of setting our tone, like I said, for the next year and a half or so. So this is kind of beginning of this cycle of energy, and it is going to be ready to make some changes with us. It is going to be ready to really make some amazing energy for us. So that's kind of the cool part about this. I'm ready for that as well. I'm ready for some new changes. This one is Saturn, and this is all about structure. Like I said, this planet is going to be messing with us a little bit, but it's always thinking about like not just airy fairy, pie in the sky kind of things that you want to start. It's kind of like thinking about the structure of it. What do I have to do first? What do I have to do next? How do I clear out this energy? How do I do this? And kind of that how, when, where, why is really the foundation to start making some changes. So many times people just like, oh, I want to change this, but they haven't really thought about like how that is going to affect their calendar. How is that going to affect your family? How is that going to affect other things around you? That's important to know. This is the Kawai, and this is all about the root. A lot of times when we're letting go of things, it's the root of it that we have to find. And that's what we need to kind of talk to, of kind of like, yeah, let's bring in that amazing energy and bring in the root of it so we can kind of see the root. And if we're going to let go of it, it's time to let it go. And if it's time to hold on, then keep it in your life. And sometimes it's easier to upgrade it that way when you've got it holding in your hand. Like, let me hold on to this energy, and what does it want to tell me, or what does it want to do with this? That can be amazing energy. This is progressions, and this is all about the journey. This life has been a journey for most people. And I think that's kind of the fun part of kind of our energy here, of kind of connecting to this and kind of connecting to our journey. So many times people go, oh my gosh, this is really overwhelming, or this is too much. And it's really, I know it sounds like crazy, but it really isn't. You chose this time to be born on earth. I chose this time to be born on earth. We chose kind of what we want to do. And that's kind of the cool part. We chose all of this. And so we chose to be here at this time so we can make upgrades and changes and amplify so many things in our life. That's the cool part. This is Neptune, and this is about the vision. Neptune is about to go into retrograde, so he is going to be messing with us a little bit over the next couple of weeks as this energy is really high from this eclipse. One of the fun things about Neptune is Neptune really kind of gives us some new dreams. And sometimes that's kind of the cool part, is having some interesting dreams. Sometimes they can be a little crazy, but it can also be really fun of making those changes, making that new insight, making that new energy, and kind of seeing it happen. This is the South Node, and this is the past. This is kind of like holding on to the past is what we've got to let go, especially with our eclipse in Taurus. That is our in Scorpio, is going to be really letting go of the past and kind of letting go of that full moon eclipse is really going to be pushing us to let go of things that no longer work for us. So that's a really important one. This one is about retrograde, and this is about the review. And I guarantee you, retrogrades, we in the pre-shadow of Mercury right now going into retrograde. And then after this, like everything else starts flowing into retrograde. So it kind of just hits us all of a sudden. We get in tons of retrograde energy. We get in tons of information about reviewing, re-looking at, kind of reevaluating what are you doing in your life? How do you want to do that? And that's a great thing to think about as we kind of move into this eclipse season over the next couple of weeks, and really think about what are the things you want to keep? What are the things you want to upgrade? What are the things you're ready to let go of? Because that's what's coming at you really, really quick. I thank y'all so much for joining me tonight, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.